Donald Trump on the campaign trail wants to share the stage with the president.
We have an empty podium right here to my right. You know what that is? That's for Joe Biden. I'm trying to get him to debate.
Mr. Trump in Green Bay. Secretary of State Antony Blinken in Brussels today for talks with NATO on Israel and Ukraine. NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg pleading with Congress to pass more money for Ukraine.
It's in the U.S. security interest to ensure that President Putin doesn't prevail in Ukraine, not least because this will also encourage other authoritarian leaders, including Beijing, to use military force.
Stoltenberg earlier in Brussels. America's listening to Fox News.
Freedom 97.1 WSME.
Live and local. Real talk starts now.
And it's hump day.
Yes.
Good morning. I'm Rayford Brown.
And I'm Lee Barrels.
And Kelly is, she's still down there in Hotlanta where things are, wow, crazy stuff down that neck of the woods.
Always.
I'm sure she's got stories, but most of
I'm
hers,
sure.
I think she's confined to quarters most of the time, right?
Yeah, it's inside those convention
Ugh.
rooms.
Ugh.
I detested conventions when I went.
Yeah, I didn't go to too many, but I had to go to some, and then we had to go to news director workshops every year with all the other news directors for the group, and we had like 45 TV stations, so it was like a whole bunch of us would gather. And first of all, news people are not right, and news directors are worse.
Well, I think the worst part of going into any type of group like that is you've been sitting there all morning long or all day long, and you just want to go get out, and then somebody has to ask a stupid question.
Yeah,
You just turn around, you give them the look.
we were eating one night at the restaurant / lounge and everything. It was one of those piano type places,
Yes.
and they had a piano out there, so the guy would come out and play the piano, but he took a break. Well, I got up. I went over and sat down at his piano.
No, you did.
Oh, he came back and kicked me out.
Wow.
So one of the questions that
Troublemaker.
one of the questions that news directors asked whoever was leading the charge, anybody in here ever been yada yada yada? Anybody ever done this? And yes, and of course people would raise their hands. Stupid things. Anybody ever been kicked out of a piano bar?
Oh, uh-huh.
So I was the only one there.
I would take it that he had already heard the story.
Oh, he was there.
Oh, he was.
He
was
watched it
there.
happen. So
Oh.
it's all fun.
I don't think I've never been kicked out of any. Well, my sister-in-law and I, we were both supervisors at the post office.
So you
and
did get kicked out of somewhere.
We were in a meeting and we had the giggles. And long story behind it, and we just couldn't contain ourselves. Yeah, we did get kicked out of the meeting, but that was about it.
One of my former new television managers, right? The general manager. It was like I said, 45 TV station group. So it's a pretty big group. Well, Raycom Media, and they had their general managers meeting. Everybody was there, and of course he had already given his notice because he was working out like a 4 or 5 month in advance he's going to leave.
Right.
So he got nothing to lose. So the boss was up there, the chief executive officer, and they were talking about how they had to cut back on expenses because that was back some years ago when things were getting a little bit tight, and we had to make do with a whole lot less, and we had to do more with a lot less. The typical talk.
Right.
And so my buddy, he stands up and he said, does this mean that you're going to have to start using regular gasoline in your jet airplane instead of aviation fuel?
Oh,
That went over like a lead balloon.
I'm sure.
He didn't have anything to lose. So
Yeah, I don't like conventions. I don't like those long meetings that you have to travel for.
yeah.
They can just really, and of course, we sit in the back and we always find a way to try to make it enjoyable until people start asking stupid questions.
Well, most of ours were, involved technical or stuff that we were all interested in. That was the one thing.
Right.
So it all worked out very well with the news directors meetings. For some of the other things that I got roped into, no, it was a waste of time. I said, why do I have to budget for something like this? I could use that money for salaries I can hire more people or give more raises to people who work here. No, couldn't stand that part. Didn't want
And
to do it.
online courses. Oh,
Oh, we didn't have those in the day.
they used to make us take so many of them. We got smart. We would just like keep fast forwarding to the end, take the test and be done with it. But then they got smart on us.
Uh-oh.
And no,
They put in a ringer question.
they put it to where you couldn't fast forward through anything. You
Oh.
had to go through hours of this course online.
Sorry.
So boring.
Well, just tune in, sign on, and then go away and come back.
That's true. You could do that, but you know they were set up to where you had to keep hitting the next button,
Oh, no,
next button,
really?
and then answer a quiz, and go to next button, answer a quiz.
Yeah,
Yeah, they got to they got on to us.
I think I would just have a talk with my guy, the guru of software,
Right.
because we had one.
I'm on this board for the state for the GOP, and right now what we're doing is we are reviewing the rules for the convention coming up in May.
Mhm.
So I mean they're the same rules that we use every single year, but we have to go line by line, paragraph A, section B, and everything's going good. I'm just like, yeah, I'll make a motion, go ahead and prove it as it is. But then someone's like, well, we should change the word from whereas to here too. And I'm like,
You got to
and
be
so
kidding
then
me.
you argue for 15 minutes over that. It's just, and I have another meeting tomorrow night. It's online every Thursday night for like the last month or
I
so.
know.
And I'm
Do
like,
they have?
"Just
Is
stop."
your camera activated during that time?
I keep mine off.
Oh, you should keep yours on and then just sit there with a pistol across your like this.
I keep mine off. I learned just to turn the video off. That way you can get up and do stuff. I watched one woman one night. She must have not realized she was on video. She had her video cam on and she was sitting there eating
Oh
the
no!
whole time. And she was one of those eaters that doesn't eat quietly or, yeah. And then she kicked back and had a cigarette, and I'm like, does she not realize she's on camera?
Apparently not.
It was funny. I turn mine off. That way I don't have to brush my hair.
Oh well, that's
Yeah.
true. Okay, this day in history.
Oh, yes.
Date is the 3rd of April. The year was 1860. Guess what occurred? It involves your former place of employment.
I'm going to guess something to do with the Pony Express.
Something. That was their first Pony Express mail. Traveling by horse and rider relay teams simultaneously left St. Joe, Missouri
Wow.
and Sacramento, California. 10 days later, on April 13th, the westbound rider and mail packet completed the approximately 1,800-mile journey and arrived in Sacramento.
Wonder what they did with all those Amazon packages.
Get into the wayward Indians along the way.
They came on the wagon.
There you go. So, yeah, that was a. People think that was a long. It only lasted 3 years. Did you know that? 2 or 3 years.
I couldn't tell you the beginning history.
Yeah, it was. I think it was only 3 years, 1860 to
think
like
it was-
1862 or 63. But anyway, yeah, that was pretty wild. They set it up, a relay station. I think they were like 15 miles apart. They had ponies and they hired really light guys, kind of like jockeys of this day. So the horses wouldn't get so tired and they would ride wide open across the plains all the way, changing horses every 15 miles. And they were speed changes. You talk about the guys in the pits at the NASCAR. They didn't have
yes.
anything on these guys.
Wow.
They jump off a horse, the other horse is ready to gallop and jump right onto the other one. And kept on
Goodness.
going.
I didn't realize they took it that seriously.
Oh, they did.
Talk about express mail.
That was
Must be
Express
where
in those
that
days.
term came from.
Pretty much. Pony Express.
Wow.
Brainchild of William H. Russell, William Bradford Waddell, and Alexander Majors, owners of a freight business, set up over 150 relay stations along a pioneer trail across the present-day states of Missouri, Kansas, Nebraska, Wyoming, Colorado, Utah, Nevada, and California. Riders who were paid approximately $25 a week and carried loads estimated up to 20 pounds of mail were changed every 75 to 100 miles. I guess it's 75 to 100 miles instead of 15. I thought it was 15. Horses switched out every 10. Oh, yeah. Horses were switched out every 10 to 15 miles. That's what I thought. One of the legendary guys who rode as a Pony Express rider, we all know him, William Buffalo Bill Cody.
Oh, yes, yes.
Reportedly signed on with the Pony Express at age 14. He was born in
14.
1846. In 1860, he would have been 14. Company's riders set their fastest time with Lincoln's inaugural address, which was delivered in just less than 8 days. Made it from East Coast all the way to California.
Really?
Mhm.
8 days?
It likely went by telegraph to St. Joe.
Okay.
They sent it by telegraph. So it got there instantly, right? Well,
Right.
as soon as they could get it out. And then
It's faster than what we're getting now.
now the price of delivery was even more expensive than today's price of stamps. So if you balk at today's price of stamps, which is, I don't know, what, 60 cents an ounce or something? I don't have a
I
clue.
think it's 60 cents now. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's somewhere around that.
I don't mail
I
anything.
got some cards over there in a drawer that got 3-cent stamps on them from
Yes.
yesteryear. But anyway, 60 cents an ounce or so. It was $5 for a half ounce.
Let me see.
$5 per half ounce in 1860.
Wow.
You had to want that thing to get there right away to pay that kind of money for it, right?
68 cents.
68 cents. Wow.
68 cents. Yeah, and that because if you're like a rural carrier, they're required to carry stamps with them and sell to customers. Now, when you
They don't
start
do that in
talking,
the city anymore because I tried to buy some.
city doesn't, but you can give them a check and an envelope or ask them if they'd bring it to you the next day.
Yeah.
They will do that. But rural carriers are supposed to carry stamp supplies on them.
I thought you could actually order online.
You can order online and
the-
have it delivered to
the
you.
carrier would bring it to you.
Yes,
Right?
yes,
Okay.
you could do that too.
Okay. That's the
Um,
best way to do it.
but when you start talking about pennies, somebody, I'd like 2 stamps, please. And they're supposed to have the money with the request. But when you start dealing with pennies, I mean, you've got to have a bucket load of pennies on you because
I just
what's
rounded off
68?
to the next dollar.
68 times 2, what, 136?
Yeah.
And then so you've got to give them back, they'll give you $2. It just dealing with the pennies.
Exact change only, please, or we round off.
Oh, I had people in the past that went back when stamps were like 20 cents. They would put 20 pennies in the mailbox.
Really?
I just take them and just wipe them and throw them in. I didn't count them. It's a pain.
All right, coming up today, we've got a full house here today.
We do have a full house.
Coming up, of course, at 7:30, we've got Dr. Rosemary Stein. We're going to talk about some of these diseases that we keep hearing about.
Yeah.
And what was that thing called yesterday? That new one that 422 people got it last
It was
year?
some type of meningitis.
Yeah,
It was we'll have to-
meningococcal meningitis or something like that. So we'll talk about that a little bit today with her and see if she's heard about it, because I had never heard anything about it. But it's supposed to be potentially very serious.
something like 400 something people have contracted it.
422 last year, and 18% of the people who got it died.
Ew.
Well, I'm not sure that 18% of the people who got COVID-19 in the beginning stages died too, didn't they? What was the death rate in the beginning?
Going back, I
I
have
don't
to
know
look it
either.
up because things have changed so much.
Yep.
Dealing with that.
And then also we're going to talk about squatting a little bit, plus other stuff.
Right.
With Royce Bennett, he's a realtor in the area. We'll talk with him about it. We hear all sorts of things about squatters here, squatters there, and you had some information before the show this morning about one group.
Yes. And get that. I
They
think it
said,
was,
here's how I can prove that I live where I am, where I'm residing. This is my place because I got me a delivery.
fast food delivery, and they
fast food
kept the
delivery.
receipt. So they go to court and they say, "See, that proves I live here.
No,
I have food
that
delivered
proves
here.
you're squatted there.
I gotta go to my neighbor's house and have food delivered there. Do I own their house?
Candy, you
Can I
better watch
claim?
out. I might be coming your way. She'd probably say the same thing.
Oh,
Then at the top of the next hour, 8 o'clock or so, plus or minus a little bit, we're going to have Robin in here, Tim Foster, chairman of the Onslow County Board of Commissioners, and the vice chair, Robin Knapp. We'll do a little commissioner's corner, not a political thing. We're just going to be talking about, obviously number one on their priority list right now, the
Right.
budget.
right. And having the commissioner's corner, we've been doing that for a very long time.
yeah.
It has nothing to do with politics.
No, I've started this thing back in
A couple of years ago.
Oh, it's been longer than
Longer
that.
than
It's,
that.
at another location we had, and that's been probably 4 years back, 5 years ago, at least
Yeah,
5
it's
years
been a long
ago.
time. Here's a story. It's two alleged squatters attempting to oust the legal property owners of a New York duplex included a fast food receipt as part of their evidence that they legally live in the residence.
Baloney.
Yes. Oh my gosh. The residence was valued at $930,000.
Well, guess what? I'm going to charge you as far as your fine and rent are concerned.
Yeah. Squatters moved in, changed the locks, and refused to leave.
Well, that's called breaking and entering.
I would think so.
And if you take anything or destroy anything, that in North Carolina it becomes a felony. Breaking and entering in larceny, a felonious act. And, hey, I just thought about it. In North Carolina, we don't have citizens arrest anymore, but we do have something called citizens detainment that you can hold a felon until the police arrive. You can't transport him anywhere, but you can keep him there until the police arrive.
They said they submitted a residential lease agreement, utility bills, and mail addressed to them at a duplex, along with a $25.27 Shake Shack receipt
Good
delivered
for
to
them.
Ubers at
Good
their
for them.
Queens address.
Find my name and my signature on your contract, and then we'll talk about it. If you can't find that, you got a problem.
The owner said everything that they presented was fraudulent and clearly photoshopped.
Yeah.
We've
no doubt
got
about it.
AI now, so
Yeah. Well, we've had AI for a long time because we got a whole lot of people in office that have artificial intelligence. I will tell you that right now. If you want to chat with us this morning, 910-333-0139, 910-333-0139.
I can't argue that.
Never thought about it like that, had you?
I know.
It's artificial is also called fake. Think about it.
I heard there was I saw it on the news this morning, on one-sided news, that there was a education forum last night that it was a town hall and two of the Board of Education members
Here in
put it
Onslow?
on here in Onslow. So it was not a
Uh-huh.
county Board of Education sponsored meeting
Uh-huh.
because they couldn't do that anyway because of the quorum.
Yeah, that's right.
They can't do that. So it was not sanctioned by the Board of Education, but it was two of your board members who've been doing these town halls. And
Are they the radical members?
yeah, from what I saw on the television, it was the
Are they,
same people.
Are they returning to office in November?
Well, one's already in office. The
Mhm.
other one's not returning to office, but they had that Michelle Morrill, who won the Republican nomination for the Board of for the public superintendent of public instruction. She was there, but it got into a shouting match towards
Really?
the end. It got very contentious from what the
At
news
a
was
school
saying.
board event? Not a school board
Well,
event,
it's
but
not a
with
school
members
board
of the
event,
school board.
yes. And you know that Michelle Morrow right now, she's under a lot of scrutiny right now. She was voted in as a Republican nominee for the North Carolina public instruction
Mhm.
slot, and she's coming under a lot of
Well, she's got Democratic opposition in November, right?
right. She does,
Mhm.
but she's kind of under fire for a lot of things that she has said on social media in the past.
So she
You know,
needs to.
about taking out Biden, taking out, I think it was Obama. Yeah, assassinating him and stuff like that.
What?
Yeah, I'll have to pull it up and read it word for word for you.
Well, why
but
did the Republicans put her as a
you've got
nominee?
some very, and I'm not labeling her, but you've got some very radical right wing Republicans.
I got some advice
that
for
are
you
running.
folks who are planning to run or think you want to run or have any
Anything you put in your
aspirations
social
to-
media is going to come back to haunt you.
have
So
any aspirations to run for a public office and seek public office at any point in time, anything that you have ever put on social media
sure,
has likely been screen saved.
yeah, that goes
Screenshot,
back
save
to
it, hold on to it, and then your opponent, whoever you're running against, they're going to use it and they're going to edit it to fit their needs.
all right. She called for Obama's death.
See
On
ya.
social
Wouldn't want to
media.
be you. Good morning, Timmy. How are you?
Oh man, we just so happy this morning. We supposed to be hauling asphalt this morning. You were talking about that AI, that artificial.
Like what?
Yeah, we got some of that.
Understand.
Yeah, tried to tell them yesterday. It's supposed to rain today. What you gonna do? Well, we're gonna pour it. We're gonna get it. I said, okay. I said, what did the plant tell you? Well, you got to get it from the plant. This rain and they're not mixed. Well, we only need 20 tons. Well, let me tell you something. If they're not mixed, they're not going to fire up that multi-million-dollar plant to fix you 20 tons.
Yeah.
Understand that. And I couldn't get them to see it. So I this morning got up, got this dump truck here. Lord have mercy. He didn't make you take a BC every hour. I mean, I got, it's about like sitting on a milk crate. I get a call. They say, well, I guess it's going to be a bust today because
It gonna rain.
yeah, it's going to rain. I said, it's raining now. And this is 6:30. I said, it started sprinkling. I said, it's going to rain all day. Well, I guess you can go back to Wilmington. I said, well, guess what? You're going to get charged for an hour and a half yesterday, and you're going to get charged an hour and a half today. What? You're going to charge me? Yes, sir. Somebody's got to pay me now. And I said, it's got to be on record. Well, he didn't like that. He's going to have to call somebody. I said, well, you call who you need to call. Buddy, I just haul it. And I'm not hauling nothing but sailboat fuel right now. They don't know what that is.
Sailboat fuel?
Now, Ray from Brown,
You're
you
talking
know
about-
what sailboat fuel
Yeah,
is.
and in most cases, it's a diesel powered motor that he got in the sailboat.
No, yeah, but what we call sailboat fuel is air.
Uh-huh. Gotcha.
Yeah,
Wind.
that's-
You're talking about for the blowboats.
Yeah, no, I thought, we call it sailboat. When we're going down the road empty, we're hauling sailboat fuel or motorcycle door. That's
Gotcha.
what we tell everybody.
Or submarine
Yeah, I
windows.
Yeah, submarine. There you go. That's a new one. I like that. I really do. But no, I enjoy this AI. I mean, I'm just looking at 4 more years, and I'm just going to retire if I don't retire early. And that way I can be my own dumbass.
There you
That's what
go.
I'm going to do.
And bring it on
All
down.
right. And bring it on. I will.
Okay.
I'll be glad to. If I'm off, I'm going to come see you.
Oh, I know
Got
that.
to come see you, my
But if
favorite people.
But if you retire, you're going to be off all the time. You're going to have to
Well,
have to
my-
use it as an excuse to get away from those do things when you retire. You understand that, right?
Well, I told my wife if I retired, y'all want me to come on the show. My honey-do list started at 10 o'clock in the morning.
There you go.
And I got the deer in the headlight.
Then you got to have an hour for dinner at noon.
Yeah. I told her, I said, I'm going to work from 10 to 11:30. I'm going to take off from 11:30 to 1. I said, I'm going to work from 1 to 2, get an iron nap from 2 to 3.
Don't forget
And
your
I
smoke
work from
breaks that
3
you
to
don't
5.
smoke in.
Well, yeah, there you go. I got to write that down too, Ray.
Got it.
We had to set up a ledger.
Yep.
So St. Diane won't kill me.
Yeah.
But,
Got
yeah,
to have a
we'll get that.
15-minute smoke break. Other people get a smoke break, so you're just a non-smoker, so you get the same break, right?
Yeah, well, federal law says every 6 hours you get a. Sorry.
I put my pen in my mouth and draw on in.
There you
Like
go.
that.
That's good.
All right. Well, y'all have a
Thank
good
you,
one.
sir.
I know Miss Stein, Dr. Stein, I can't wait to hear her in the morning.
Yep.
I gotta
This
look up
morning. But y'all take it easy.
All right. Thank you, sir. We'll see you shortly.
All right.
Bye. Today's severe weather tip is brought to you by John Stars Electric. This morning, let's talk about preventative maintenance before severe weather actually impacts our area. Along with making sure you have food and water on hand for several days, some things you can do for long-term protection include keeping your trees trimmed. Dead limbs can break loose in heavy wind, and those limbs can become projectiles that can break windows in your home, and they can shatter your car windshields. That's a long-term plan. Now, when severe weather is predicted, and there's a timeline, have a checklist that includes securing all loose objects. That includes garbage cans, outdoor furniture, and the like. If available, put those objects inside a garage or outbuilding. You can also secure loose furniture if you don't have a garage or an outbuilding with ropes, tying them to fence posts or other structures that are unlikely to break loose. Ever thought about that? You might think about it. Small pieces of wood can become dangerous if picked up and blown into glass windows. While there's not a lot of advance warning for tornadoes, a checklist on what to tackle makes the last-minute chores a whole lot easier. Don't forget, you might consider investing in a standby generator. Your needs and comfort level will help you and the John Stars team decide what size generator you get. If you have a lot of food in your freezer or freezers, A lot of folks I know buy beef in bulk, and it would be a shame to have a power loss for several days and lose that investment. Have a list of the electrical appliances that you know you'll need, like the freezers, and some creature comforts, including lighting and food preparation possibilities. And the John Stars folks will work up a quote in short order. Once your order is placed, you'll be in great hands. They will take care of the permitting process. They will make arrangements with the propane gas company, and they'll consult with you to make sure they know exactly what you need to keep you happy when the community goes dark. Power up your life with the Generac from John Stars Electric. Call 910-989-1908 today. This is the perfect time of year to take advantage of the professionals. It's all turnkey with John Stars Electric, and it's worry-free. And they service, this is important, they service what they sell. Again, the number to get you started, 910-989-1908. We're live and local. We'll be right back.
WSME. Is your phone plan messing with your savings plan? Don't get stuck paying for things you don't want. With Verizon, you only pay for what you need. And for a limited time, when you bring your own phones to a Verizon store, you'll get an amazing price on your plan. Plus, you'll save on things you actually love, like the Netflix and Max with Ads bundle. And it's on our award-winning 5G network. Bring your phones to your Verizon store today for an incredible deal. A better plan to save is Verizon. Additional terms and conditions apply.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Anjali.
Hi, it's Jennifer Coolidge. I just got an alert for a strange charge on my card.
No problem. We make sure you're never held responsible for unauthorized purchases on your Discover card. Let's see. Did you purchase something from a t-shirt cannon store yesterday?
Absolutely not. No, I already have like 3.
$0 fraud liability guarantee. It pays to Discover. Learn more at discover.com/credit card. Limitations apply.
A plan every adult family member should consider is the pre-arranged funeral. It's the worry-saving thing to do for your family. Making pre-arrangements helps to alleviate the additional stress on family members that can come with arranging a loved one's funeral. Jones Funeral Home's prepaid funeral plan helps remove confusion. They make a practical evaluation of costs possible, and it's the best way to take an unpleasant task off the shoulders of the family. Call Jones Funeral Home at 455-1281.
With locations in Jacksonville, Richland, Swansboro, and Holly Ridge.
Looking for a job? Full-time? Part-time? Il Cigno Italiano Restaurant wants you. We're currently hiring for hostesses, servers, bartenders, and dishwashers. Il Cigno Italiano is a family-owned, fast-paced restaurant that offers the best in fine dining on the Crystal Coast. If you're hardworking, reliable, professional, and have a desire to always strive for better, we want to talk to you. Make great money and be a part of an outstanding, dedicated team. Il Cigno Italiano on West Corbin Avenue in Swansboro.
It's live and local. Real Talk on Freedom 97.1, 1120 AM, WSME.
The Marine Forecast brought to you by Community Prevention Services right here in Jacksonville, North Carolina. We read all about all sorts of things that cause us stress, sometimes making us physically ill if something is not done. The trained staff at Community Prevention Services understand the elements that we have to deal with every day. While not every person or family has the same reaction to stressors out there, many others do. Let Community Prevention Services help you. They understand, and they actually listen to you. Parents, do you want information on the latest substance misuse trends among your kids? For all of your mental health and substance abuse prevention needs, contact Community Prevention Services. They're on Henderson Drive, 918 Henderson. You can call them at 910-353-0972. That's 910-353-0972. Community Prevention Services accepts most insurance plans. Gale watch in effect from this morning through tonight. Today, offshore southwesterly winds 20 to 25 knots, increasing to 25 to 30 this afternoon. Seas 5 to 7, go get bigger, 6 to 9 in the afternoon. Dominant period 6 seconds, sounds and rivers rough, becoming very rough this afternoon. Tomorrow, westerly winds 20 to 25 knots, gusts to 35 knots, seas 5 to 8 feet, dominant period 8 seconds, sounds and rivers are going to be rough again. Friday, westerly winds 15 to 20 knots with gusts to 25 knots, seas 4 to 6 feet. They'll come down in the afternoon, 3 to 4. That's a good sign for the weekend. Near shore seas 2 to 4, sounds and rivers choppy.
And today we have showers and thunderstorms coming in with a high near 76. South wind 10 to 17 miles per hour with gusts as high as 29. Tonight, mostly cloudy with a low around 48 west wind, 8 to 14 with gusts as high as 23 miles per hour. Thursday, we have increasing clouds with a high near 66. Thursday night, mostly clear with a low around 42. Friday, sunny with a high of 64. Friday night, mostly clear with a low of 38.
I got a fire that is ready to be lit. Okay. So I've got 3 chances to light it. I got to burn it off this year. I don't this season. I don't want to keep that fire. I have to dismantle my stacked wood in there.
Well, I have a fire that's almost ready to be lit because you're getting ready to tell everybody about it right now.
Yeah, we'll start with that. Let's see what we're also waiting for a call from Dr. Rosemary
That's
Stein.
right.
So let's see if I can get through this first. The Department of Motor Vehicles calls them fees. They smell like taxes to me. And on the 1st of July, the taxes you'll be forced to pay to be able to drive your car are going to increase. Anyone really surprised by that? I mean, come on, give me a break. Government control over so-called fees is a guaranteed way to allow the government entities to steal more of our money. And they don't even bat an eye on the impact, the economic impact from gasoline taxes, food prices, none of that stuff. They don't care. They don't take into consideration that old people are on a fixed income. The cost of living increase on Social Security earnings is a joke. Matters not that not everyone can afford more increases in the money we are forced to hand over to them. The fees affected will include driver's licenses as well as motor vehicle registrations. No real explanation for the increases. I'm still waiting to see what the big bucks collected after the state started collecting taxes when you transfer a title. Wasn't that many years ago. Wasn't always that way. Since its inception, I cannot see that we are any better off. Can you?
Add that to my list of things gone up.
Here you go. Dr. Rosemary Stein, I need some help.
I can hear that. How can I help?
Well, say if I'm going to go into a second youth, can you be my doctor?
Yes, absolutely.
Good.
You're on the top of the list.
All right, good. First thing, I had a story yesterday, and it's affected last year 422 people. So far this year, it's affected 143,
Right.
but it's on the rise. It's on an increase. It's called meningococcal meningitis.
Neisseria meningitis.
I don't know what it
something.
is. Some kind of a meningitis outbreak
I can't talk, doctor.
that they say is getting worse is likely to be a big problem.
Yeah, it's meningitis. It's the class of meningitis. It's probably the most severe and let's say mortal kind of meningitis. So that it affects children very, very badly, but it does also it is able to affect adults. Good news: there is a vaccine. It's given to children at let me try to remember 12 and then 16. It's relatively a new vaccine in the last maybe decade and a half. The better news is that it's actually really rare.
That's what I read.
The numbers are much higher than usual. It's the classic meningitis that would go through the barracks. So the old kind of vaccine was actually used on and has been used on high risk students going to college. It affects the meninges, which is the covering of the brain, but it actually goes into all of the rest of the body as well. The mortality rate is much that kind of meningitis infection than others, and it has very, very bad outcomes. It can leave kids blind and very, very affected by this sort of outbreak. I don't think it's necessarily anything for regular people in the community to worry about. I think it's a higher risk when you're in tight quarters, like in barracks, tight, sort of slightly non-hygienic quarters, like college dorms, make the possibility of it increased. And for most of us the chances of having it very, 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 very low.
Yeah,
With or without
it's
the
very low, but I understand also, even for those who recover, 18% mortality rate for last year, I think. But for those who recover, there can be some things as serious as you lose a limb. Wow.
Oh, yes, absolutely, because your circulation decreases. But take into account this, that there are much more diseases, not to make this one any better, but there are many more diseases that are more frequent and have as bad outcomes as this. It's just it's a scary one. It's a very, very scary one. I have had in my lifetime. So this puts things into perspective. So I've been practicing medicine since 1993. That makes me 31 years practicing medicine. What is that, 31? Yeah.
You started when she was 12.
I have seen 2 children with it. One, I think I was exposed enough that I was on the verge of having it. And the other one, I was fortunate because I didn't know until afterwards that this little guy that came into the hospital had it. But I had no symptoms or anything. It is quite contagious. But if in my lifetime of practicing pediatrics, I've only actually seen it twice. It's not very frequent, so I don't want people to worry about it. I think you take the precautions. The vaccine is meant for that age group, 12 and 16, because we want to protect them before they go to college. It's very, 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 very rare that small children have it, although it does happen. And it was not seen by the CDC and the vaccine manufacturers as being prevalent enough in younger children to need the vaccine. And also the side effects of the vaccine were enough that we didn't want to increase the risk of having more bad outcomes with the vaccine than with the disease.
No, just go out and eat some dirt when you're a little kid. Your immune system will build up, right?
Well, I don't know about that.
Dirts and worms will take care of it.
I don't know that it'll take care of it, but I think that we live in a bit of a sterile society in some ways. So that's not necessarily a good thing for our immune systems. But don't go and eat dirt.
Yeah, no need to get serious. No need to get overboard with some of the stupid stuff. I mean, we've had enough hand sanitizer around here. My God, I don't know how somebody made a lot of money off that.
I still have a lot.
And I think that all of us are partakers of the hand sanitizer craze. I find myself, if I walk by one, I feel like I have to go buy it and say hello to the canister every time.
There you go.
So there are benefits to maybe being exposed to some more innocuous bacteria, and we're just generally not that kind of society. But we're probably doing better than other societies that eat dirt, such as India, Cambodia, countries like that. So we have to see the positives and the negatives. But I think a sturdy immune system requires us to be exposed to a certain amount of illness. That's why kids in kindergarten and pre-K get sick so often, because their little bodies are not have not been exposed to that many viruses and bacteria, and they have to build some immunity to be able to attend school.
Yeah, well, I think some immunity, natural immunity buildup is good. I mean, you're going to get a little bit sick perhaps, but you're not going to get deathly sick in most cases. Just, be cautious. Be cautious. Don't drink out of the same canteens, if you will, like we used to do. But it's not, that doesn't hurt a thing to drink out of a water hose either.
Did that?
Yeah, the water hose hasn't had 100 people go through it.
That's right.
I think the water fountain is more. I'm more cautious about that.
Yeah, me too.
People put their mouths on it. But with regard that, I really want to offer your audience the thought of with regards to meningitis. I think there's things to be more concerned about than meningococcal meningitis. So just take care of yourselves and prevent illnesses by doing all those nice things like vitamin D, vitamin C, exercise, lots of water that we've been talking about.
Now, I've got to see my my medical professional today for my quarterly checkup or whatever they do now these days for me. And I'm going to request if she can suggest that I go see a veterinarian. Because I think I've got fleas. I itch all over. Is there something now Lee is itching. But anyway, it's like there's no bumps there, there's no bites there, there's nothing like that. I don't use any different soap. I don't use any different. My wife doesn't. She uses the same stuff she's been using, which is a very mild type of thing for clothes, and she double rinses everything. But my God, once a day, especially in the early evening, I just like start itching everywhere. Forehead, arms, elbows, toes, ankles. What have I got?
Well, it's the most likely thing that you have, Mr. Rayford, is probably an environmental allergy. And you might not even notice it. It could even be pollen or dust or somewhere that you're picking up a little bit of something that's on your skin. If you don't have any exposure to anything new, I don't think that that's it. But if you continue to have that, not to alarm you, but sometimes it can be the first signs of other kinds of conditions. So wait a couple more weeks. It sounds like if you don't have any spots, it's just a superficial allergy that's irritating your skin. And not something, like fleas. You would most definitely have some bumps on your skin if this was an insect created itching and the condition.
Yeah.
So what I would just maybe at night take some Benadryl so you decrease the itching.
That's exactly what I've been doing.
Some,
I take Benadryl before I go to bed. It allows me to
then,
sleep through the evening.
Yeah, and then make sure that you're moisturizing your skin well. I mean, use like the CeraVe or the Eucerin so that all that scratching doesn't irritate your skin.
CeraVe.
You scratch more.
What's all that stuff?
And maybe for the more spots, you may want to try some hydrocortisone 1%. It'll decrease the inflammation on the skin.
Okay.
I need it now.
I maybe have to go get some. I got some in the bathroom. I'll maybe go try that.
Yeah, and just wait a few weeks. If it doesn't go away, let's say by the end, towards the end of April, then I think I would consult the doctor to make sure that there's not something else going on.
Okay. Yeah, well, it's been happening for the last 3 months. So I'm going to talk with her today and see if maybe she wants to do an allergy test. That might be the good check.
That's right. Some allergy testing, maybe check your AGE, which is the kind of immune system that may cause that kind of allergy.
Okay, sound good. Dr. Rosemary Stein, I'm grateful for all the advice, and I'm sure some other people out there are having the same issues. We got a guest that just came in. He stopped at the door and started scratching his head.
You can see somebody scratching. You've got me scratching.
Dr. Rosemary Stein, we'll see you next week.
Talk to you next
Thank you,
week.
Dr. Rose.
Take care.
Yeah, you too. You're live and local, Real Talk Freedom 97.1, 1120 AM, WSME.
Freedom 97.1 WSME.
Hello, shoppers. Take advantage of these specials and many, many more at your locally owned and operated Richlands Piggly Wiggly, where good things cost less. Down home, down the street, Highway 24, Richlands. Smithville, brown sugar or spiral sliced half hams, just $2.49 a pound. Bone-in standing rib roast, $10.99 a pound. Whole boneless pork loin, just $1.99 a pound. Certified Angus beef, value pack ground beef, $4.79 a pound. 1 pound package, North Carolina grown, fresh, red ripe strawberries, $2.99 each. And yellow, white, or bicolor corn, 59 cents each. Enjoy down-home country cooking in the deli 7 days a week in the store. Dine in or take out featuring hot, fresh chicken that will make you smile. Country breakfast starts at 5:30 a.m. daily at your Richlands Piggly Wiggly Deli, and it's home to the famous Merle Bowl. You can also take advantage of the fast, friendly pharmacy located inside Richlands Piggly Wiggly. Richlands Piggly Wiggly, down home, down the street, where good things cost less. Highway 24, Richlands. Remember, save big with the pig.
Chico's Tires, 2320 Wilmington Highway is Jacksonville's oldest tire company, and now Jacksonville's newest tire company is Little Chico's, located at 1675 North Marine Boulevard. Little Chico's carries all the major brands and sizes such as Michelin, Goodyear, BF Goodrich, Bridgestone, and many others, and all new tires have warranty. In addition to a great selection of new tires, Little Chico's has used tires starting at only $30. In addition to new and used tires, Little Chico's does brake service, minor auto and truck repair, expert custom window tinting, and towing. So if you need tires, new or used, brake service, minor auto or truck repair, expert window tinting, or if you need a tow, visit Jacksonville's newest tire store, Little Chico's, 1675 North Marine Boulevard. By phone 910-333-0473 for Little Chico's Tire Service, located at 1675 North Marine Boulevard, right here in Jacksonville.
Welcome to Lane & Associates Family Dentistry, where we love to make you smile. Now proud to be working with Drs. Kim and Tommy Morgan, formerly Morgan Family Dentistry. The Jacksonville and Richlands Morgan offices of Lane & Associates Family Dentistry blends the latest technology with personal care and attention, so you have an amazing dental experience. The offices of Lane & Associates welcome all ages and accepts all major insurances, including military. Lane & Associates Family Dentistry has been serving the state of North Carolina for over 40 years, with 2 locations in Jacksonville, Richlands, and Maysville. Call for an appointment today at 877-LANE-DDS or online at lanedds.com. Welcome to Lane & Associates Family Dentistry.
Humphrey Heating and Air Conditioning, your trusted local Carrier indoor weather team. Serving all of your heating and air conditioning needs since 1967, now offers residential and commercial duct and dryer vent cleaning, and now offers expert residential and commercial plumbing service. In case of a power outage due to a storm or for any reason, be prepared with a Generac generator for your home or business. Humphrey Heating and Air Conditioning has Generac generators in stock ready to install today. Remember, better breathing comes with cleaner air. Let Humphrey Heating and Air Conditioning improve the air quality in your home or business with professional air duct cleaning. As always, Humphrey Heating and Air Conditioning is available 24/7 for all your heating, cooling, and plumbing emergency needs. Turn to the Carrier experts. Humphrey Heating and Air Conditioning, with locations in Jacksonville and Hampstead. Visit online, humphreyheating.com, and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Humphrey Heating and Air Conditioning since 1967. Relax, we're on the way.
It's live and local. Real talk on Freedom 97.1 WSME.
Hey, we're back, and our next guest is in the studio. Onslow County Commissioner Royce Bennett, but we've got him here today for other things. He's also a real estate tycoon.
Yes.
I always like that word, tycoon. So at Champion 21 Real Estate. Did I get it right?
Century 21 Champion.
Century 21 Champion. I knew I'd get it wrong. I should know better, shouldn't I?
You should know, yeah.
Well, sometimes I forget. And sometimes I put things in ahead of each other. Royce, I have a question for you that one of the reasons I wanted you in here, and I know there's some other stuff we're going to talk about. This squatting thing has come up across the country and is getting a little bit out of hand. North Carolina would not likely to have too many issues. I don't think our law enforcement or even our city or county officials across North Carolina are going to bow down, kowtow to these clowns that want to go in. So I go on vacation. I'm gone for 3 weeks, and they're going to move into my house. How's that going to work out?
Bad move, right?
Well, we'll call it the final move. Is there some concern? Vacant houses that are vacant and real estate signs are set up in front of them. A guy in some states could actually move in there, and as this clown in New York went in, ordered a takeout delivery, or no, a delivery of food, shake and bake or whatever it was called, and they brought the food over. They had a receipt they introduced as evidence that they lived there. You show up with a mattress and you claim the place is yours.
Yeah, well, I hadn't heard of anything locally happening with that, but after I talked to Lee yesterday, I made some phone calls and I talked to some agents across the state and at the North Carolina Realtor Association, and I didn't find anybody that's having an issue in North Carolina with squatters. I think we're not quite to the point, like you said, where our magistrates and our law enforcement they got no common sense at all. And where our judges can not figure out who actually lives in a house. But I also talked to our representative, Phil Shepard, and he is working on legislation to specifically make squatting illegal. Now, right now, I think you've mentioned trespass and B&E, breaking and entering. Those statutes are what we would use for somebody who did something like this. But I guess a statute that specifically addresses the squatting situation might take some of the ambiguity out of some of those situations if they arise in North Carolina. I think one of the reasons that we don't have a big squatting issue is we don't have the housing supply for people to move into. I mean, we just don't have a lot of vacant houses out there. Housing supply right now is around half of what it was, 10 years ago.
That's why I keep getting these mails and telephone calls and say, I want to buy your house. You want to sell it? And I said, yeah, $5 million cash. All unmarked bills. Give me 30 days. I'll be out.
Yeah, I just sold my house and I did the same thing. They called me and I said, yeah, I'll take so-and-so and, you bring me the money, I'll sell it to you right now.
They took you off the list, didn't they?
Yeah, they took me off the list, and I got different calls from different people next time.
I got a text a couple of days ago, just checking back about you selling your house. First of all, who are you? And we've never discussed this, and why are you texting me? I am not going to go to a realtor that contacts me through text.
Never. Well, the housing market changes all the time. That's why we say, if you get a market analysis or an appraisal, that's the value or an opinion of value on the day that it's done. 2 days later, it may be different. A month later, it certainly is different. And 3 months later, it's not even relevant anymore. Mm-hmm. So, just a couple years ago, our housing inventory was half of what it is now. So it's double what it was a few years ago, but it's still half of what it was back in 10 years or so ago when the market was really hot. Yeah. And yes, it is. Last I checked, there's something like 1,500 houses on the market. I remember when we had 3,000 or more houses on the market. And again, just a few years ago, it was down to 700, 500, wow. Crazy low numbers like that.
So how many of those houses are on the beach?
Well, I don't know the answer to that.
A bunch of them?
Yeah.
That's a lot of real estate signs.
That's where I want to go squat.
I'm sure some of them are. But, we just have a huge housing need, and that's part of the reason that our economic development team got together and had a housing summit just a couple of weeks ago to talk about the need for housing in Onslow County. Our economic development team has already determined that we're some 4,000 or 5,000 housing units short today of what we actually need. So, and we're growing by 2,000. Our population is growing by 2,000 a year average.
Yeah, I saw that.
So, we're and for example, in 2020, we permitted 1,150 houses in Onslow County.
That's it.
That's it. Yeah, in the whole county, and that number's gone down ever since COVID. We're down to somewhere around 900 in the last year, which was 22, I think, that we have numbers for. So we are not building enough houses to keep up with the demand, much less meet the current need. And that's what causes us to have an issue with affordable housing also.
Let's talk about that when we come back. You're live in local Real Talk Freedom 97.1, 1120 AM, WSME.
Freedom 97.1.
Southern Touch Painting, Maintenance, Power Washing, and Roofing specializes in residential and commercial interior and exterior painting. In fact, they paint most anything except cars, including homes, businesses, apartment complexes, decks, and they do minor repairs, wood repairs, pressure washing, waterproofing, and more, including storm repair and cleanup. Southern Touch Painting, Maintenance, Power Washing, and Roofing, fully licensed, insured, and locally owned and operated by Roger Carroll Jr. References available and customer satisfaction is always guaranteed. So if you want to painted, maintained, power washed, or need a new roof, call Southern Touch Painting, Maintenance, and Power Washing at 910-939-0749 or visit southerntouchpaintingnc.com. Southern Touch Painting, Maintenance, Power Washing, and Roofing salutes our troops and is proud to be part of the continued growth of Onslow and surrounding counties.
Have you gotten your copy of Topsail Times newspaper this week? If not, did you know that Topsail Times is Topsail area's only local newspaper in print? Started a little over a year ago, we now have over 1,500 online subscribers and 5,000 printed copies that go out every 2 weeks. And we never charge our readers. Information should be free to our readers, and we stick by that. Looking for an idea for date night? Want to learn some local history? How about asking a veterinarian about your pet? These things and more are available in each copy of the Topsail Times newspaper. Want to get the word out about your business? We offer great rates for full color ads, and the online paper version is always included for free. Need help designing the perfect ad? We can do that too. We're always looking for human interest stories, so start writing. And we love local photos too. Check out our website at topsailtimes.net, where you can find out where to pick up a copy or check out our latest publication online.
In a season of falling temperatures and rising energy bills, your local Bryant professional is always ready, standing by to protect your home's comfort and defend you from uncomfortable temperatures and the higher energy bills associated with them. Ready to do whatever it takes for your home, your family, and you to be comfortable without breaking the bank. Because when the temperature falls, that's when your local Bryant professional turns up the heat efficiently.
Call Down East Heating and Air Conditioning at 346-4311 and let them keep you comfortable this winter. Down East Heating and Air Conditioning, serving our community for over 25 years. Also, Down East can help you with your home guttering needs. Call Down East today at 346-4311.
Bryant, whatever it takes.
Freedom 97.1 WSME.
It's live and local real talk on Freedom 97.1 WSME.
So if you got a house out there you want to get rid of, you're planning to move, maybe you want to upgrade, there's an opportunity for you to do that these days because Onslow County realtors are looking for housing, right?
Looking for houses to sell, yeah.
What
we're just looking at a few more statistics. The price of our housing has gone up 78% in the last 7 years.
Really?
Wow. 78%. Yeah. And
don't tell the tax department that.
Yep. I think they got you on that one last
they
year.
did.
Yeah. And interest rates have gone up 42%. So
can people even afford to buy a home at inflated prices? Higher appraised prices. And higher interest rates for sure.
Well, a lot of people can because a lot of people are buying houses.
How many flippers are out there?
Well, I'm not seeing as many flippers as I was because there aren't any low-priced houses that you can buy.
Mm-hmm.
So that leads to the affordability kind of crisis that we come into. Where they actually over 33% of our houses are considered, of our homeowners are considered cost burdened. That means that they spend more than 30% of their income on housing.
Not the way it's supposed to be.
Right.
They used to say no more than 20%.
Right. And 25% is a number is really about as high as you want to go if you can help it.
And then for those people on fixed incomes, 20% or 30% is ridiculous.
That's right.
They can't afford it.
Now, when the cost of the groceries goes up like it does,
mm-hmm.
and the cost of everything else goes up, it makes it really challenging for a lot of people. So we had a housing summit, and one of the major impediments right now to us building our industry in Onslow County is housing. Because I know of companies who want to bring in more employees, and they have actually brought people here that they wanted to hire who came here and said, I can't find a house. I can't live here. I got to go back to where I came from because there's no place for me to live. In Holly Ridge, Camp Davis Industrial Park, we've talked about that. We're expecting to bring 2,500 jobs down there, but there's no place for them to live. So as we develop the industry down there, we also have to consider what are we going to do to house these people when we make the jobs available. And that's another part of what we're working on with economic development to make Camp Davis Industrial Park work like it's supposed to. But our housing summit, we were looking for a short list of actions that we can take locally to help with the housing situation at the local level. And we had a great panel. If anybody was there, and I think you can see it online at Jacksonville Onslow Economic Development website or Facebook page. But we had a panel that included John Pierce, who's a developer, James Mades, who's a low-income housing developer. Carter Metcalf is our county planning director. Susan Edwards is a banker with First Bank, and Jason Nelson is a builder with Atlantic Construction.
Right.
And they all came together to talk about what the impediments are to producing more houses that there are definitely a need.
So what are
in
the problems?
Onslow County. Well, some of the problems are permitting that involves the county. The county, as I've seen over the years that I've been there, we get a good staff in, a lot of good people. They start pumping out building permits. We get to a 24-hour turnover on permits, and then, as happened a few months ago, 4 of them quit or retire, and all at the same time. And all of a sudden, we don't have people to process those permits, and they start getting behind. So yeah, that's always a challenge, and commissioners will tell you that we're working hard to make sure that we compensate our employees appropriately and have the right number of employees in each of our departments, so that we can keep these processes going without holding things back. But another issue is not only with local permitting, but to develop a subdivision, you got to have CAMA permits and DOT permits and all kinds of environmental permits and all this kind of.
So what can be done to streamline some of this process?
Well, exactly. And a lot of this stuff, it kind of starts in the county, and the county we're working on ways in permitting and planning to make sure that we have relationships that we can liaison with the state and federal agencies that have to produce permits, so that we can streamline the process. Is basically, I mean, we can't control what they do at the state and federal level, but if we can help by communicating with those other agencies and trying to make things work better, then that's about as much control as we can have over those processes.
I hired a guy here to put a generator in my house, right? Not inside, but at my house. He took care of. He was the liaison. He took care of all the permitting processes. He took care of everything with Jones Onslow. He took care of every process all the way through.
Mm-hmm.
You need somebody like that at the county level to streamline all this stuff.
Right. And the 3 recommendations that came out of our housing summit were to, number 1, to fully staff the local government planning departments and try to offer incentives to keep our employees there so we don't lose people. And number 2 was to implement a 24-hour residential permitting process policy, which we have had in the past, but it's kind of fallen by the wayside because of the staffing issues. And then lastly would be to expand local government funding for affordable housing. We tried a few years ago to put $500 of the ARPA money toward affordable housing. And that deal fell apart because the contractor couldn't, by the time they got around to getting it approved by the state and everybody, the cost had gone up so high that he couldn't do the project. So it's a real challenge when prices are changing.
I'd like to get you back in here one day to talk about nothing but affordable housing and a need for it, because we don't have it. We got a problem.
That's right. We don't have affordable housing, and it's we call it more now. We call it workforce housing. Because it's not low income people that are having problems with housing. It's our EMTs, our paramedics, our firefighters, our law enforcement people who are making, $60,000-$70,000 a year. So they're not low income, but the housing costs are so high that they can't afford to stay here. So that is certainly an issue.
Well, we'll have you in here to talk about that.
All right.
Get some nuts and bolts and some figures down.
You know me anytime.
I got it. Loris, thank you.
All right.
Loris Bennett. Let's take a quick break. And on the other side, we're going to do a little commissioner's corner in here as well. We got the vice chairman and the chairman of the Onslow County Board of Commissioners. Now's your time to get your whack-a-mole thing out there and start whacking on them. Let's see what pops up. You're live and local, Real Talk, Freedom 97.1, 1120 a.m. WSME Fox News is now.
WSME, Camp Lejeune, W246CJ, Jacksonville.
I'm Gianna Gelosi. Thousands of homes and businesses are without power in Kentucky after multiple EF1 tornadoes tore through Louisville.
It did skip down there on Han Ridge Road. This is very typical. A lot of roof damage, a lot of tree damage, twisting and turning of the debris.
That's John Gordon with the National Weather Service. Governor Andy Beshear declared a state of emergency. At least 9 people are dead, more than 700 people injured in an earthquake in Taiwan. This while its military is keeping a close eye on China and its military planes flying above the island.
Those Chinese aircraft are not there to deliver aid to Taiwan, of course, after the earthquake. China's been ramping up these large-scale simulated attacks on the self-governed island democracy since 2020 and after Nancy Pelosi's visit 2 years ago.
That is Fox's Lucas Tomlinson. The provocation coming as President Biden and Chinese President Xi Jinping spoke about keeping peace in the region. America's listening to Fox News.
Freedom 97.1
WSME.
It's live and local. Real Talk.
Okay, we're back. Lois Bennett was representing realtors today for the most part, talking about that and a bunch of other things that are going on as well. Going to get him back in here because I want to talk about affordable housing. We are in a sad state of affairs. Affordable housing, workers' housing, whatever you want to call it these days. We've lost so much. There's a lot of people without.
Yes.
And I don't know, it doesn't look like in one of the projects, the locations that I drive by on a regular basis, doesn't look like it's moving forward very fast.
I know which one you're talking about.
So we'll get there. Vice Chairman of the Onslow County Board of Commissioners, Robin Knapp, and Chairman Tim Foster. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you, gentlemen?
Good.
What you got going on?
Nothing.
Why?
I'm just kidding. I see that state hat you've got on over there.
Absolutely.
Celebrating. I'm pulling for the pack. Not
Yes.
a pack fan, but I'm pulling for the pack.
Exactly.
Well, that's because you have no choice. So
You don't have anywhere.
I didn't say
you
that.
just need to stay out of conversation.
It's not football season, so I'm not going to say a word. But
Oh, okay. Well, anyway.
He's one of those Florida State football fans. They don't have Florida State fans.
Oh.
Oh, you don't like round ball?
I mean, I like it. But it's not my favorite.
Not
It's
in
going to be
Tallahassee.
Well, you're a baseball guy anyway, right?
football, baseball.
Yeah, shortstop.
And the Seminoles are doing extremely well.
Yeah, they are. They're playing well. They're playing well.
They only have 4 losses this season, so they're doing well.
Yeah, 4 out of 5's not bad.
It's not bad.
No.
Got to bust your chops one way or the other.
They're 21-4, 22-4, something like that.
Before we get too far down the line here, I want to ask you guys. You guys are involved in the volunteer fire departments. The county commissioners are, right?
Right.
I'm going to read you the story, and I want you to explain to me how this happens. An administrative assistant for a North Carolina volunteer fire department has been arrested for embezzling $200,000 over 2 years from the department. Didn't happen with a few dollars. That's $200,000 over 2 years, a little bit over 2 years. Like 26 months, not here.
Who's checking the books on that?
That's right. Insurance Commissioner Mike Causey says Amanda Lamb of Shawborough was charged with embezzlement of funds by a public officer. The 46-year-old woman indicted by a Currituck County grand jury just a week ago, arrested the next day. She's a $97,000, you ready? Secured bond.
Good.
Wow.
Now, we know what secured bond means.
Absolutely.
You got to put it up to get out.
Yes.
Or have some type of
Of course, she had $200,000 somewhere.
She had to in somewhere.
How can you,
It'd be interesting.
in a volunteer fire department, how can you generate that much money that you wouldn't even miss $200,000 over 2 years?
That's even crazy to fathom. I
can't
mean,
even
the amount of money that, and how they raise their money. Well, I guess the question is, how does Currituck County have their
I
fire
don't
services set up, and
Who knows?
who's looking at oversight? Where we have, the fire chiefs come in and meet with the fire commission, and they discuss the monies, where it's going, what it's
Y'all
being
might
spent
want to
on.
contact Currituck County and explain to them that this is the way we do it, and we don't have this problem.
I think I'd want to keep. I just want to keep my distance from Cook County. Just, no.
Wow.
That was just one. Wow. How did that happen?
Hmm.
I mean, I don't know a lot of volunteer fire departments. And this is Currituck County, a place called Shawboro.
Right.
It's not a whole lot.
It's not a lot, not a lot there.
There's probably some other things going on, not just her, probably with some other people.
Something's happening.
Yeah.
Something be rotten in the state of Denmark. All right, budget time.
Wow. Just thinking about the money and how she embezzled that. That's amazing. It's amazing that they even got that much money.
Yes. So that's just lying around, but nobody would notice this.
How can one volunteer fire department not realize in a 2-year period $200,000 has disappeared?
Yeah, they couldn't afford to get their tankers filled up with gas or something or water.
Yeah,
You would be suspicious then, wouldn't you?
She must be the president, vice president, treasurer,
auditor,
purchaser,
scammer.
That's
Budget
good.
time.
Yeah, budget time is
You're in
hitting.
it. You're smack dab in the middle of it. You got about 3 months to go.
That's about right. We are April, May, June. We would hope to have it passed and ready to go for the 1st of July. So we'll
You've got to have it passed and ready.
Got to have it ready to go by. You got to have it ready about. Unlike the federal government, we got to have a budget by the 1st.
6 months later,
And it
something.
has to be balanced.
Yeah, that too.
I think, I won't say I think, I know Mr. Smitherman, David Smitherman, our county manager, and his executive staff has been working diligently, meeting with the departments, looking at their needs, and we'll start seeing some of those results and having that presented us in the next within the next month, where we get to start seeing those numbers, requests, what we're actually going to budget. We had some real good discussion at our, not this past workshop, but the one before, we started talking about where we're going to put fund balance and start setting that aside. I wish I could remember all of it right now, but we passed that in that workshop of where this percentage is going to be set up for emergency funds. It's never going to drop below this.
Right.
Then we're going to have it set up for this. So he's done a real good job of putting the fund balance in places that it needed to be put in, for needs down the road, for opportunities to borrow better with better rates, put it in place for some capital expenditures that we're not going to do anything where it's going to pay as we go, but we'll have ourselves in a position that something arises that is necessary, then we'll be in a position to step in there and handle that. But we're not going to allow that part of the fund to go below a certain percentage, so that we're always in a good position for any possibilities. I guess is that if you're in a position for that, you're in good shape.
Yeah, a few years ago, I heard that the fund balance was right about $53 million. Was I hearing that?
That's about right. The unassigned is around 54, 55 million. And we're taking that and starting to take pieces of it to where we know that when we had Florence, we didn't have the fund balance that we needed. But now we have another situation like that. Onslow County is in good shape.
Okay.
We're fortunate in Onslow County. I mean, we have a county that is, not the military base here. Shields us from a lot of what the rest of the nation
The
faces.
outside economic woes, yes.
Right. Other than the inflation, we don't get shielded from that. But as far as business being able to stay open, is that there's a lot of paychecks that are going to come in every month or twice a month. So we're fortunate with that. But the big thing is that we have to be very, very wise with the money that we collect, because people don't want to see their tax money go in and sit. They don't want to see their taxpayer money come in and just go for frivolous things.
No.
But we're fortunate.
Don't look for a way to spend it.
That's right. Don't look for it. That's don't wake up and say, "Hey, we got money. Let's go spend it." What we really need to continue to do is just what the budget team is doing, is looking at the needs. And as Onslow County is growing, we're becoming a place that some of the needs is starting to grow into some of the cultural things and recreational things that we haven't always had here. You go into places like Wilmington and you see a lot more cultural things going on there, a lot more recreational things taking place there, and our county is starting to grow into that. So it'll be interesting to see what we're able to do. We've got folks coming in and looking at Burton Park. What are some of the best opportunities of feasibility things to do in Burton Park? We also have a group coming in that's taking a look at Hines Farm. What are the best appropriate things to do there, most feasible things there to meet what Onslow County needs, and how we can get tourism
And
to come in
also
and spend money
way
there.
to generate some money.
Absolutely. And we're using the one of the group organizations that we're members of that helps come in and do that, where your membership doesn't cost you $10,000 or $15,000 to bring in somebody to do that. So Mr. Smitherman's got those things lined up, and we'll start getting that information here in the future. So I'm looking forward to seeing some of those feasibility studies and making some moves on these areas.
Okay, so we are living within the budget for this fiscal year that ends in June, right?
Absolutely.
Everything's good.
Everything is good.
Okay. Now, are we looking at much of an increase in the budget? I'm not talking about taxes yet.
We haven't heard much increase in discussions of increasing anything in the budget. I feel like we're probably going to have some increases in the line items for the sheriff's office and our public safety. That's probably the greatest need.
Okay.
And then really we want to make sure that the cost of living, we're able to meet that cost of living raise for the employees. Because, we heard Royce talking about the planners and the permitting, is that we want to make sure we keep our employees. And if nothing else, you've got to meet the cost of living. So we will make sure that we have a cost of living raise in there for the employees. So those are the things that we will look at that will grow. But a lot of times you have positions that aren't filled, you can't fill.
You're reading my mind.
And that money ends up sitting over there in your fund. It's assigned for that year, but after that year, that money's not been used, and let's not go look to spend it.
Can you move it forward?
You'll leave it. You can leave it there for part of your next year's budget. For you don't, that position that hasn't been filled is getting paid. It's just not leaving the account because it's not going to anybody.
I know at the sheriff's office, for instance, they had a very serious lack of detention officers.
Yes.
A bunch left. Now I know that they've got some that they've added.
Right.
They're coming up. I don't know that they've got a huge.
I don't know how many they've
bunch of
hired,
vacancies.
But I know that I haven't seen the request, but
The
I
numbers
know-
have gone down as far
Yes.
as
Not
how many vacancies.
vacancies. Yeah.
But we're kind of doing something different this year too, in terms of nonprofits. We had a survey go out talking about nonprofits and how they can present their items to the commissioner. And I think that's very important. We're trying to set a date for that so that the nonprofit organizations can be heard, so that we can listen to them. In the past, we used to get the nonprofits; they'd present their stuff to the county, but we didn't really have any interaction as a commissioner, because there are some nonprofits that are doing a fantastic job out there, and they're not asking for much.
Right.
And if we can afford it, we're gonna try to budget some money to the nonprofits so that they can proceed. I've got several nonprofits that I'm aware of that are asking for money, and they're not asking for a substantial amount. They're asking for an adequate amount to help with their funding, and the things that they're doing for whatever cause that they may be representing is fantastic.
Just look at the return on the investment, like we do with anything else.
Oh, exactly. And the budget process is a long process. And it's difficult because we sit in workshops and we have 7 commissioners out there that may have different goals, different ideas, or different strategies as to what they want to do. But, we vote on our overall objective, 5, 6 top priorities, provided to the county manager and his staff, and they take that in their framework, and they operate within those guidelines. And, one of the biggest things, and I've said it before, is that is the taxes. A lot of misconception out there about the taxes. We have nothing to do with the appraisal. We can't help that. But I want to reemphasize that one more time. We didn't raise taxes at all. The appraisal came in, unfortunately, hit us at the current market value. And what we did as commissioners is try to lower the tax rate. So, it used to be 70.5 cents per $100. We reduce it to 65.5. That's 5 cents. If we could reduce it even further, we're going to do it.
Right.
But you got to keep in mind, though, as we keep reducing the tax rate, and, some people say, well, we need to go to revenue neutral. Well, sure, revenue neutral would be great, but, what are we going to cut?
Right.
Because, do we cut the sheriff's department? Do we cut this particular agency? Do we cut
All your
DSS?
grants.
People think that, out of our budget, that we're required to fund the sheriff and one deputy. That's it. One sheriff, one deputy. And, he's got over 350 employees, and we have to fund them. And, that's just the nature of the beast. So we're doing everything we can to stay within our limits and trying to reduce the tax rate, give some people a break. Because I heard or said earlier today, like you said, we have a lot of retired folks that are living on fixed incomes. It's very difficult. And some of us retirees, we have to work too, because we're living on a fixed income, and government is slow to catch up in terms of cost of living and et cetera. So it's not a struggle. It's a difficult situation that we're trying to balance out. So I think we're doing a good job.
Okay, let's take a break. You guys got questions? Now's your time. 910-333-0139, 910-333-0139. You're live in local Real Talk, Freedom 97.1, 1120 a.m. Also, WSME971.com. Heard around the world. If you happen to be living in Istanbul, give us a call. We'll be right back.
Freedom 97.1.
Welcome to Lane & Associates Family Dentistry, where we love to make you smile. Now proud to be working with Doctors Kim and Tommy Morgan, formerly Morgan Family Dentistry. The Jacksonville and Richlands Morgan offices of Lane & Associates Family Dentistry blends the latest technology with personal care and attention, so you have an amazing dental experience. The offices of Lane & Associates welcome all ages and accepts all major insurances, including military. Lane & Associates Family Dentistry has been serving the state of North Carolina for over 40 years, with 2 locations in Jacksonville, Richlands, and Maysville. Call for an appointment today at 877-LANE-DBS or online at lanedd.com. Welcome to Lane & Associates Family Dentistry. Mohawk All Pet Protection and Warranty is the only cover protection and warranty for all pets, all accidents, all the time. Because your pets are family members too. No matter how you live, we've got you covered. Soft, luxurious, smart strand forever clean carpet. Gorgeous, durable, solid tip luxury vinyl tile. Mohawk has the ultimate floor for every room in your home that's suitable for all pets. For details, contact Watkins Floor Covering online at watkinsnewfloor.com. Watkins Floor Covering, thanking you for voting them the best of the best for 2023 in the flooring covering and carpet cleaning category. Watkins Floor Covering, they're more than just floors. It's custom showers, custom tubs, carpet cleaning, backsplashes, bathrooms, commercial, retail, and home flooring too. Watkins Floor Covering, family owned and operated since 1997, with locations in Jacksonville and Surf City. Watkins Floor Covering, you stand on it, we stand behind it.
Tammy Fry Allstate Swansboro reminds you to check your mailbox and find your quote on homeowners insurance. Tammy Fry Allstate Swansboro go the extra mile to make sure you're in good hands, like helping you customize your home and windstorm coverage with their Write Your Own home policy. Yes, save even more when you bundle your home, auto, boat, motorcycle, and even your golf cart. Remember, if it rolls or floats, call Tammy for a quote. You and everything you own are in good hands with Tammy Fry Allstate Swansboro. Call today, 910-326-5383. Tammy Fry Allstate, 638 West Corbett Avenue in the friendly city by the sea, Swansboro. Check your mailbox today for savings on your homeowner's insurance.
Looking for a job? Full-time? Part-time? Il Chino Italiano Restaurant wants you. We're currently hiring for hostesses, servers, bartenders, and dishwashers. Il Chino Italiano is a family-owned, fast-paced restaurant that offers the best in fine dining on the Crystal Coast. If you're hardworking, reliable, professional, and have a desire to always strive for better, we want to talk to you. Make great money and be a part of an outstanding, dedicated team. Il Chino Italiano on West Corbett Avenue in Swansboro.
It's live and local Real Talk on Freedom 97.1 WSME.
Rain forecast brought to you by Community Prevention Services of Jacksonville. We read about all sorts of things that sometimes making us physically ill. the problem. The trained staff at Community Prevention Services understands the element that we have to deal with every day. While not every person or family has the same reaction to the stressors, many other families do. Let Community Prevention Services help you. They understand and they actually listen to you. Parents, do you want information on the latest substance misuse trends among youth? I'm sure that probably causes you a lot of stress as well. For all your mental health and substance abuse prevention needs, contact Community Prevention Services, 918 Henderson Drive, right here in Jacksonville. Give them a call, 910-353-0972. That's 910-353-0972. And Community Prevention Services accepts most insurances. There's got a gale watch in effect. The rain is coming down too this morning through tonight. Offshore today, southwesterly winds 20 to 25 knots, but wait, it's going to get worse. They're increasing to 20 to 30 knots this afternoon, seas 5 to 7, and it too is going to get worse, 6 to 9 in the afternoon. Dominant period 6 seconds, sounds and rivers rough, becoming very rough this afternoon. Tomorrow, westerly winds 20 to 25 knots, gust to 35, seas 5 to 8. Dominant period 8 seconds, sounds and rivers again rough. And on Friday, some daylight, westerly winds 15 to 20 with gusts up to 25, seas 4 to 6 feet, subsiding to 3 to 4 in the afternoon. Near shore seas are running 2 to 4 feet, sounds and rivers choppy on Friday.
And today we have showers and thunderstorms with a high near 76, south wind 10 to 17 miles per hour with gusts as high as 29. Tonight, mostly cloudy with a low around 48, west wind 8 to 14 miles per hour with gusts as high as 23. Thursday, increasing clouds with a high near 66. Winds 10 to 18 miles per hour with gusts as high as 28. Thursday night, mostly clear with a low around 42. And Friday, sunny with a high near 64.
If you guys are in the area here and you're looking on Highway 24 or Highway 17 going towards Wilmington, you're going to find out there's going to be a lot more trucking going along, a lot more container ships, container cargo vans headed there because of the mess at the Francis Scott Key Bridge last week in Baltimore. The bridge is still down, out of commission. The channel is not allowing the big ships up the river, up the creek there, to get out to the harbors, to get out to the ocean. And a lot of shipping is sitting there idle because they can't get there. We expect more cargo vessels to visit Wilmington and Morehead City in the coming months until that bridge is restored. The port's executive director here in North Carolina, Brian Clark, says they're ready as shipping customers are already evaluating their possible options. Baltimore is a major East Coast shipping operation. It's expected that a number of vessels will go to Norfolk, but while that port can handle some of the increased business, shipping companies don't want to see an additional overland haul because of sensitive time limits. 6 workers died in that bridge collapse. 2 survived. I'm going to tell you what, Robin, I'm so proud of the cops. Immediately at 1:30 in the morning, when they got the rescue, the 911 call, Mayday call from that ship, told them what was happening, the cops blocked off both ends of that bridge. Nobody could go on. That was amazing.
It kind of reminds me of, when Sully took the aircraft and plunged into the Hudson River.
Absolutely.
That's one of my favorite movies. And when you watch the response from not just the police officers or the firefighters, but the response from local ship captains who immediately turned towards the aircraft and they charged forward. There must have been about 6 or 7 rescue boats on the scene within 2 minutes.
Same thing happened on 9/11 when they evacuated the island. And, with 9/11, they lost all communications, of course. All the towers had all the radio comms on top of them because they were the highest points there. Had all the law enforcement repeaters, all the emergency services repeaters. They were dead in the water. You know who got those people off that island? A Coast Guard lieutenant. He set up a station on command and he directed the ferries and other boats, private boats, to come in and pick people up and told them where to go.
That's the thing about first responders. And since you kind of segued into that, the first responders, whether they be firefighters, whether they be EMT, EMS, police officers, anybody in law enforcement, things like that are responsible. Their responsibility is to help people enforce the law, whatever it might be. When a situation gets all screwed up, they stay calm. Most of the cops stay calm, and they improvise. They find a way to maintain their calm, or they find a way to get things done. And I'm proud of those guys.
Training kicks in.
Oh, it kicks in big time. I can attest to that. You don't even think about it. You know, you
Just automatic reaction.
as you go through training over the years, you go through training, you think, okay, this is boring, this is boring, this is boring. You get to the
Until
like shooting when you're out at the range, and I was an instructor for 20 plus years. You do things a certain way. You're confronted with certain situations, certain malfunctions, and you don't even think about it.
Yeah.
You just go into overdrive, and it just automatically happens. And I'm proud of those cops.
Yeah, one of my instructors in that at the line that they would send us down two at a time running. We had to run 50 yards first, but they take my gun and they jammed it. They screwed it up. Either they took the magazine out or they did something. Well, mine, stupidly, it was just a stovepipe that they put in it. Not a big. That was a spent round, spent casing that jammed the slide shut. You had to clear it first before you started shooting.
Oh, wow.
I looked at it. That was a simple process. I mean, you thank God to train for that one days on end.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we used to have drills where you run 25 yards, but you got to run to your weapon, but your weapon's disassembled.
Yeah.
You got a certain time frame. You got to sprint 25 yards, get there, put your weapon together, load a magazine, and fire off 2 rounds in a certain time limit. And you know, a lot of mistakes at the beginning, but once you train that way, it's automatic. It's like you can do it with blindfold on.
Yeah.
Super proud of those guys. Super.
Yep. They did a great job. They saved. Oh my God, even at 1:30 in the morning, that bridge is normally busy. I don't know how many lives were saved.
Oh, you can't even count.
Yeah, you can't.
I'm going to go at least into the hundreds, if probably more.
It's going to be interesting to see what turns out from this investigation, because there's a lot of theories going on out there about this or that, and you know, conspiracy theories.
Forget that. It was a problem with that ship. It's been a problem with that ship since 2016.
Yes, it's already had an incident prior. Like I think it's 2016. So
there are issues. There are electrical issues, and that vessel runs on electricity. I don't care if it got diesel fuel on it or what has got on it. That rudder is under the control of electric motors.
That's right.
And when the generator fails, you don't have any steering capabilities.
I just know there's a lot of speculation that the Terrorism Joint Task Force is looking at that stuff. So we'll see.
And that's the thing. When it failed, it was in the process of making a turn.
Yeah.
And at some point in the turn, they have to bring it back around to go where they belong. But when it come back up, it was too late, and then it went right back out. So it was a mess. So. You've always got to be prepared for that, and it sounds like they were trained and ready to go for stuff you don't know is going to happen.
You have not a clue. You had any idea you're going to have to fix a bridge because a ship hit it?
Isn't that the truth?
When you're working as a beat cop.
Isn't that the truth? Oh my gosh.
Okay, let's go back to the county business here. We got a bunch of bridges around here.
We do. We do.
We don't have any of the big ships traveling under them. We do have barges.
We do have barges that'll make some trips through, and I'm hoping that the state DOT has a plan. I mean, they're already, which was the one out in Bear Creek, that bridge that's coming up to be repaired. Is that?
I think
I can't remember the name. I know we were talking about it the other day. I'm remembering maybe. But of course they'll have the temporary one, and then they'll
build the small bridges over a little bit.
Right. Yeah.
One of the things that we got to do, though, man, you know, part of the budget, you know, Paul talked about it last time he was here, is we got to look at New River Inlet.
Thank you very much.
I mean, we have to look at it very hard and try to dedicate some money. You know, when you move sand and you replenish sand and you put it over here, and you know, it's sand. It's going to erode. It's not going to work. And, you know, we're talking about, you know, possibly
jetting.
Jetting, terminal growing. I mean, we've got to do something.
Probably
a jetting, because I've seen it over at
Masonboro.
Yeah.
I've got the picture out there in my Jeep.
I know. I've seen it several times.
For both sides.
Well,
it's very stable.
And there's a lot of recreational use, and then the shrimpers too. I mean, there's only 1 or 2 that actually can navigate through there.
Well, let's just talk about the recreational use. You're talking about boats that go through that inlet that, you know, they buy them and they spend a lot of money in Onslow County on fuel and maintenance and everything else. Those boats going to run $100,000 or more.
Yes, they are.
For those boats that navigate out there, those recreational fishermen, they spend a ton of money
on those.
You got reels on board that boat's $500 a piece.
Yes,
just
sir.
reel.
Yes, sir.
Because they're out there looking for big fish.
It's a big business, and we've got to make sure these inlets are that inlet is running and open. Absolutely.
That's right.
Now, another point to that too is it helps bring in fresh water to the New River. It help with cleaning it too.
Salt water comes in, yes. Usually comes in by wind driven. There are no tides. There are no tidal flows up in New River up high near Jacksonville.
Right.
That all depends upon the winds. If the wind is blowing from the south, the tide is going to be higher. If the wind is blowing from the north, the tide goes downriver.
Yep.
And, that's one of the reasons we also have to keep, you guys have to keep those ditches and all the
Those
places
creeks
that
clean.
are close to the New River clean.
Yep.
Because all that crap that flows out into the New River, especially when there are heavy rains like hurricanes and even
Pushes it right out into
pushes it
the
out
rivers
there
and
and all
creeks.
the way down river. There are logs that float down river that are just under the surface. I know 2 boats that sank last year in New River because they hit a log.
Oh yeah.
So there's lots of stuff that needs to be taken care of. It still falls on the county.
It does. It sure does. It sure does.
It reminds me of a story of one of my partners.
Well, I'm going to escape on you guys.
I know
I'll
you
let
do.
you get this
You
done,
want breakfast.
and then I'll be back, and I'll do a better job of scheduling in the future.
You're fine.
So-
You're fine.
But we'll be back in another month for Commissioners Corner. again.
Absolutely.
That's good.
Thank y'all.
And we'll be closer to the budget then.
Oh yes. We will.
Take the time
Thank
to
you,
read
Tim.
that budget now.
Tim Foster's got another appointment. He's scheduled.
It reminds me of the story of one of my dearest friends, John Matthews. He was the sheriff's department
I
captain.
remember him.
Yeah, he was my best friend in the world, but he passed away a couple years ago. But we were doing a drug interdiction by Swansboro, and we were teaming up with the Coast Guard, and we were teaming up with the other local law enforcement agencies, and the sheriff's department had a boat, and so we were doing a 3-day drug interdiction, up the river, and there's markers, at night. At night when you go boating at night, it's very, very weird. It's very strange, kind of eerie. But there's markers, and you have to stay within your buoy markers to get to a certain area. We're trying to get to Coast Guard station.
And you got to stay on the right side of that marker.
That's
because
right.
The other side is very shallow.
Well, yeah, that's the part of my story. So John was getting a little impatient, and we're going so slow following the channel markers. And he looked over to his left, and he said, that's a clear, straight shot.
No.
I said, John, I wouldn't do that because I can make it, man. It's not going to be that shallow. So he hits the engine, and it goes in the channel marker. We get maybe 50 yards, and then we hear this big thud, and we're stuck. And I said, what in the world? So I jumped out of the boat. We're on a sandbar, and we didn't even see. The other deputy jumps out and we're trying to push the boat off, and we realized that the boat wasn't going anywhere because John was still staying in the boat. And
He was a big dude.
yeah, he was a big dude. So finally we said, John, get out of the boat. So he finally got out of the boat, and we were able to move the boat and put it back into deeper water. And then we got back in the boat. But that just reminded me of that. It was at the time, sitting in water at midnight. And it's a little scary.
Been there, got that T-shirt, but I'll tell you what, is if there's any boater has been operating the boat very long, and he says he's never running around, he's a liar. Go ahead and take that to the bank.
Well, it's like a motorcycle. They say, hey, have you dropped your bike? And
Yes.
The question is, have you ever dropped your bike? The question is when. You're going to drop your bike once or twice.
My run around story dates back to the 60s, late 60s. We were zipping along, my 2 dive buddies and I, in January now. Get this. We were going out the New Topsail Inlet, which is way down at the south, right? We were going to run out New Topsail Inlet. It's an unmarked inlet, a channel leading from Surf City area down that way. It was also unmarked at that time. It wasn't the Intercoastal Waterway. It was just a channel. So we said, well, we'll go out there. We headed out. I said, look at those seagulls over there. I mean, it was a typical January, completely socked in, cloudy morning, cold. The water was the same color as the sky, gray. And I was going along. I said, look at the seagulls. And Cecil says, why don't you scare them? I headed over there. As the Lord is my witness, I did not know they were walking on dry land. I thought they were swimming. And that boat came to a stop. And it goes up and it rolls over on the keel of the port side. The motor has shot up and it's running. And I shut it down. And we spent a better part of an hour laughing and trying to push that boat off. And the tide was slowly coming in. Thank God.
Well, you're lucky you didn't get stuck. But, getting back to real quick, because I'm going to have to leave as well. We got the budget season, as we discussed earlier. The budget season is moving along pretty steadily, and hopefully we'll have something finalized in June. And we have to have something finalized at the end of the month. But I think, for the most part, the county is looking really good.
Good.
It's kind of a slow period right now for the county in terms of, we're conducting everyday business and we're moving forward, but the budget is the biggest concern right now. We have a couple more workshops that we're going to be participating in to make sure that we get the budget where we want it to be. And then hopefully we get a budget that looks good. We'll pass it, and hopefully we'll pass it unanimously. And then we'll move into the next year, because the next year is going to be a big cycle. We're getting prepared, for hurricane season, which starts in June. We have to look at things like that. And like Tim said earlier, we have a very healthy fund balance in terms of disaster relief and contingency support.
Oh, we don't have to use it.
Yeah, and hopefully we won't have to use it, Lord willing.
And the interest keeps drawing, right?
Yes.
Good.
So
$50 million should draw a lot of interest.
It should. And, we're still pursuing certain things. We're still looking at the quarter-cent sales tax increase, and we'll be approaching that here very soon. Probably towards the end of the year, we're going to be looking at certain ways to do that. And so we got a lot of things ahead of us, and a lot of things that we're anticipating. And but right now, the county's in really good shape, and our staff has done a remarkable job, from Sharon when she was the county manager to currently now. Our staff's, our budget is in real good shape, and I'm really proud of what they've done.
Okay, this quarter cent, very quickly, and I'll let you go then. The quarter cent, if the state legislature signs off on it, okay, they can sign off on it one of two ways, I think. One is you can offer a referendum.
Leave it to the people, yes.
And leave it up to the people. Or you can do it automatically if the Senate and the House approves it, right?
Right.
Y'all can do it just by resolution.
We can do it by resolution, and if it gets, if we get all three representatives on board in agreement and they push it through a House bill, then we can get it that way. And the bottom line is to pursue that particular angle, because it'll help us out, it'll help the taxpayers out, the property owners out a lot. And I'm looking forward to it. And I know it's been a big issue with a lot of the commissioners, to include myself, for the last 6 years, to get this pushed, because we need to look at alternative revenue spending or revenue or gathering revenue, and that's a good way of doing it. It's equitable. It's more
a
equitable.
no-brainer. I'm sorry, I don't like increased taxes any more than anybody else, but this is a no-brainer.
Right. And so
everybody gets to pay their fair share.
It's going to benefit us all.
It will, and and hopefully we keep striving in that direction. We'll move forward, and eventually it'll get passed, or some type of action will be taken. We'll be able to implement the four quarter cent sale tax increase, and that would be great for us.
Well,
and it'll help the taxpayers, like I said, the property tax owners.
You're finally going to be able to give the county employees a raise that they
Well, I
so
tell you,
deserve.
a lot of people, they question, okay, you touched on it earlier. Look, the county employees that we have, from Parks and Recreation to the fire department, DSS, sheriff's department, these people work hard. And you've got to pay them what they're worth. That's my philosophy. You have to pay them, you have to compensate them fairly, and and you've got to make sure that they have the proper equipment, the proper tools and resources available to them, which all costs money. And I can't think of people more deserving of a cost of living allowance than county employees.
Well, we're never going to be able to retain these employees if we can't pay them what other counties are paying.
That's right. And the thing is, we have to have a fair job market value of these particular people. And, it's more expensive to hire people and try to train people for particular positions than to keep the ones that we have and focus in on them for their development, and to keep them with us within their department. It's a lot cheaper in the long run. And, you can't replace experience. And we have a lot of experienced people within our departments in the county. You cannot replace experience. And that's probably the most important thing I can think of.
I agree with that 100%.
I totally agree. And, it's cheaper to keep them than it is to buy new ones and train them.
That's right. And, we've
even if you train them, they come in as inexperienced individuals, no background, generally speaking, right?
Generally.
So it's going to take a year. So you've just lost a year.
Well, I'm a firm believer there, especially in law enforcement, especially in any job.
Absolutely.
In any job, you can't replace experience. You can go and, you can have all these degrees and talk about theories and stuff like that. But, it's a different world when you're on the street or when you're hand to hand every day. with doing your daily job. It's the same with every department, whether it be DSS, firefighters, etc. We need experienced people. We need to keep our experienced people because, again, I'll say it again, you cannot replace experience.
Nope, you cannot. All right, Rob, go to work.
I appreciate it, guys, and we'll see you next time. You got
Okay.
more.
You're live and local, Real Talk, Freedom 97.1, 1120 AM, WSME, WSME971.com, heard around the world. And, of course, you got it on Simple Radio. You'll reach there, too. Of course, some of you guys know we're on Facebook and on YouTube. We'll be back in about a minute or two.
Freedom 97.1 WSME.
If you plan to rebuild, remodel, repair, or do cottage or home improvements, Williams Hardware, 3011B Bridges Street, Morris City, should be your first stop. Williams Hardware carries power tools and equipment, chains and fasteners, plumbing and electrical supplies, along with Gerber, Buck, and Case knives. Williams Hardware is your helpful, handy hardware store. Williams Hardware cuts glass to size and cuts and threads pipe. When the chores are done and the cleanup is finished, light up that Wilmington grill from Williams Hardware. Williams Hardware, 3011B Bridges Street, Morris City, open Monday through Saturday from 7:30 till 6 p.m. and Sundays for your convenience, noon till 5. Phone Williams Hardware, 252-726-7158.
The best deal for the grill is at Jones LP Gas and Oil Company each Friday. Every Friday from 8 a.m. to closing at 5, Jones LP Gas and Oil Company will fill your 20-pound LP gas grill cylinder for only $11. You heard that right. Each Friday till closing, you can have your 20-pound LP gas cylinder filled for only $11 at Jones Gas and Oil Company, 3881 Wilmington Highway in heart of Verona. In addition to saving money on your LP gas for the grill, Jones Gas and Oil is your full-service gas and oil company serving residential, commercial, and agricultural gas and oil needs, as well as gas appliances, LP replacement parts, fill cylinders, and tankless water heaters, and they offer a 10% military discount on installation. Remember to get that cylinder filled every Friday until closing for only $11. Jones Gas and Oil Company, 3881 the Old Wilmington Highway, Verona, 910-346-6384. If your plans include hitting the road this year to do some traveling, make sure a visit to Silent Service Center is on your to-do list. Travel safety starts with the tires on your vehicle, and a visit to Silent Service Center will give you peace of mind with the best value in all name brand tires and the largest selection of used tires in this area. In addition to quality tires, Silent Service Center is a North Carolina inspection station and does complete brake service, oil changes, and alignment service. Silent Service Center, 1707 Lejeune Boulevard, Jacksonville, and 108 West Main Street, Havelock. Phone 910-353-4760.
Have you gotten your copy of Topsail Times newspaper this week? If not, did you know that Topsail Times is Topsail area's only local newspaper in print? Started a little over a year ago, we now have over 1,500 online subscribers and 5,000 printed copies that go out every 2 weeks. And we never charge our readers. Information should be free to our readers, and we stick by that. Looking for an idea for date night? Want to learn some local history? How about asking a veterinarian about your pet? These things and more are available in each copy of the Topsail Times newspaper. Want to get the word out about your business? We offer great rates for full color ads, and the online paper version is always included for free. Need help designing the perfect ad? We can do that too. We're always looking for human interest stories, so start writing. And we love local photos too. Check out our website at topsailtimes.net, where you can find out where to pick up a copy or check out our latest publication online.
It's live and local. Real Talk on Freedom 97.1, 1120 AM, WSME.
Okay, we're back. Now we're all alone. Isn't there a song, All Alone Am I?
All alone again.
Yeah, something like that, whatever. Federal District Court judge has overturned the Biden administration's climate rule that required states to track and set reduction goals for greenhouse gas emissions from vehicles on the highways. In a sweeping judgment late Friday, Judge Benjamin Beaton of the U.S. District Court for the Western District of Kentucky ordered the Federal Highway Administration to stand down on those rules. The agency finalized those rules back in November. The ruling represents a major victory for the state of Kentucky, which challenged the regulations. Also, 21 other states. I'm doubting that North Carolina challenged them, given our Attorney General and his political leanings and the governor and his political leanings. President Biden's radical environmental agenda has lost touch with reality, and Kentucky families, farmers, and workers are paying the price. That's what Republican Attorney General Russell Coleman said on Tuesday. He's in Kentucky. Like all Americans, he continued, Kentuckians love our trucks, cars, and vans. With this victory in court, we're slamming the brakes on the Biden administration's politics that make no sense in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. Kentucky filed the lawsuit back in December, 1 month after the FHWA finalized the regulations. According to the lawsuit, the FHWA overstepped its legal authority in attempting to regulate vehicle emissions since it attempted to force states to implement federal regulations. Again, that's the Federal Highway Administration.
Yes.
Good. Couldn't find anywhere the listing of the states, but I'm reasonably sure that those other 21 states do not include the great North state of North Carolina. Wisconsin Governor Tony Evers, he's a Democrat. Boy, he's catching a lot of flack. He blocked a GOP-led measure that would have prevented transgender students in the state from competing on school sports teams that do not align with their biological sex. Wow. Evers said the bill he vetoed fails to comport with Wisconsin values. In a letter Tuesday to state lawmakers, Assembly Bill 337 passed through both chambers of the state's GOP-controlled legislature earlier this year. Evers wrote, I am vetoing this bill in its entirety because I object to codifying discrimination into state statute and the Wisconsin state legislature's ongoing efforts to perpetuate hateful and discriminatory rhetoric and policies targeting LGBTQ Wisconsinites, including our transgender and gender nonconforming kids. What? The legislature wants to, the people want to make sure that biological males who have an advantage in sports, by and large, biological males have an advantage in the sports arena over females. That's the reason they've had boys teams and girls teams. In chess, you use brain power. Brain power is equal. It does not matter what sex you are, right? Or whether you have any sex or not. It does not matter. But in sports, in most cases, biological males have more power, better suited than our females. But a transgender male competing as a female ain't fair to females. That is discriminatory if there's ever been anything. What's wrong with this governor, besides he's being an idiot?
Idiot. Well, did you hear about, talk about sports Monday night? Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry urged state officials to enact a policy that requires student athletes to be present for the national anthem after the LSU's, which is the Louisiana State University women's basketball team, received harsh backlash for missing the national anthem right before the game started. I mean, their opposing team, Iowa, was seen on the floor holding hands, for the national anthem.
Because the bus was late getting them to the game?
They walked off the court before the national anthem, so they were already there.
You won.
And you know what? As far as I'm concerned,
they're done. Don't
take their federal money from them.
Mm-hmm. Me too. But the feds won't do it.
Yeah, said LSU had left the court right before the anthem was played.
Okay, we're going to take our final break here at this hour, and we'll be back tomorrow after, we got a few more minutes at the end of the show here. So if you've got a call, a burning desire, you'll have one chance.
One chance.
First caller, you're 910-333-0139. You're live in local Real Talk. We'll be back after the break.
Freedom 97.1 WSME.
For 40 years now, people throughout Jacksonville and Onslow County have trusted Barnes Diamond Gallery for all their jewelry needs for every special occasion. They understand that every day is a special event for someone, whether celebrating a wedding, anniversary, birthday, engagement, or graduation. Let Barnes Diamond Gallery custom design something for you. Barnes Diamond Gallery does on-site repair in addition to their quality and selection of diamonds, diamond fashion bands, pendants, watches, earrings, gemstone rings, and necklaces for anyone for any occasion. Major credit cards accepted. Layaway available. Barnes Diamond Gallery offers appraisals and paid top market prices for gold and silver. Barnes Diamond Gallery, 461 Western Boulevard, Suite 120, Jacksonville, open 9:30 to 5:30, Monday through Friday.
Hello, shoppers. Take advantage of these specials and many, many more at your locally owned and operated Piggly Wiggly store down home, down the street. Where good things cost less. Main Street, downtown Maysville. Smithfield, brown sugar or spiral sliced half hams, just $2.99 a pound. Half-cut boneless ribeye loin, $9.99 a pound. Bone-in standing rib roast, just $10.99 a pound. Whole boneless pork loin, $1.99 a pound. Certified Angus beef value pack ground beef, $4.79 a pound. Certified Angus beef pork London broil, $4.99 a pound. Thick boneless pork chops, $2.79 a pound. Jumbo pack boneless fryer breast, $2.59 a pound. 1 pound package North Carolina grown fresh red ripe strawberries, $2.99 each. Yellow, white, or bicolor corn, just 59 cents each. Tender crisp snap peas, $1.79 a pound. Large California navel oranges, 99 cents each. Fresh golden ripe pineapples, 2 for $5. And 2 2-liter Coke products, only $4. That's your locally owned and operated Piggly Wiggly store down home, down the street, where good things cost less. Main Street, downtown Maysville. Remember, save big with the pig.
When you need comforting, who do you call? An old friend, right? Jacksonville Heating Contractors services the heating and cooling needs of our area with dependable quality train systems, guaranteeing indoor comfort for your home or business. In addition to quality train systems, Jacksonville Heating Contractors offers 24-hour emergency service, NATE certified technicians, and over 50 years of experience and service you can trust. And with a Jacksonville Heating Contractor service agreement, you never pay retail for heating or cooling services and receive priority scheduling. Remember, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And in New Bern, you can call Trent Heating and Air Conditioning 252-633-2200. In Morehead City, Sea Air Heating and Cooling 252-247-1122. If you need service or repairs, just call an old friend. Jacksonville Heating Contractors, an independent train dealer. It's hard to stop a train. For deals on train systems and more, visit anoldfriend.com or call 910-347-2843.
It's live and local. Real Talk on Freedom 97.1 WSME.
Okay, we're back, and what a joyful way to end this day.
Oh, joy.
Joy. Hey, Joy, how are you?
Good morning. How are you?
Good morning,
We're kind of froggy this morning with all the rain.
Yeah, but we got to have the rain to have things grow.
Yep, I've got 3 tomatoes plants already growing outside.
Okay, just let me know when one's ready. I'll come get some.
Okay. Yeah, well, I got pineapples that are actually I got another pineapple that's ready. I got to pull it today.
I know. Have you been stomping them and smelling them?
I do, absolutely. All I got to do is pull the leaves apart and take a whiff, and I know it's right. It's all bright and yellow. It's not like the green ones you get in the grocery store.
Right.
They don't ever turn yellow.
I've never tried one of those before.
Mm-mm-mm.
Never tried growing one of those.
Well, it takes a few years to plant them, but if you plant 2 or 3 every year, you get some off. And
Right.
Robbie says they will only produce 1 pineapple, then you have to start over. I did not know that.
Oh, I don't know much about pineapples.
I got to find out more. I got to find out more
I think
about
they
that.
have shoots that come off.
Well,
of
if they got a shoot with what she
Right.
calls little pups, you
Right.
take the little pups off
Right.
and replant them. But the first one we did, it didn't have anything going for it, so it's apparently one and done. So, but we got about 7 or 8 or 10 more growing.
It's still
That's
nice
good.
looking plants.
Good.
Right. So it looks good, smells good, and so
Mhm.
tasty. What's on your mind, Joy?
I don't know. You said something about first caller, so I said, I don't know what this is about. I'm just going to call.
Well, I said
If
you-
I'm not
you
first
get-
caller for
yep.
anything. I'm just going to say, hey.
You get to be the last caller, the first and last caller of the day. Well, not the first caller, but you get to be the last caller of the day. I said we had time for one more caller.
What?
I said we had time for one more caller, and you be it.
I know, and I want y'all to have everyone listening to have a beautiful day. You can always make it sunny outside, even if it's gloomy.
Yeah, if you smile, turn that frown upside down. Is that what they say?
Well, it takes more. Doesn't it take more what, more muscles to frown than it does to smile?
That's what they say, but mine, I think, is a natural frown. I mean, I've lived with it most of my life.
I think mine's stuck too.
So you getting ready
Y'all
for?
have a wonderful day.
You're getting ready for the warmer weather. You go? Do you have a garden you're planting?
We normally do, but Donald normally does in those containers.
Uh-huh.
But you know, he hasn't been quite himself this past year. Hadn't had one. No, we do not.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
It's a different year, but it's okay.
It'll be fine.
I'm sure that we'll be blessed with something bountiful.
You will be.
Other people.
There'll be plenty of people to supply you with stuff. No doubt about it.
Oh yes, that's how I want me a tomato sandwich with some mayonnaise on it.
Oh, that's what
I'm looking for that.
I love that.
Cucumbers with some vinegar in it. I'd like to have me some of that too.
Yeah, I had cucumbers to my tomato sandwiches along with a little bit of bacon. I don't do the lettuce part, but I like tomatoes, cucumbers, and bacon.
And what?
And bacon.
Oh yeah, BLT. You get with the cucumbers on it. Never
Yeah,
had that
I
one
put
before
cucumber. It makes a
Never
good
had
little.
that one.
It's really good crunch on there when you do that.
Well, I'll have to just try that one out as soon as I get some from somebody when they start growing.
Yeah, they're going to be growing. There'll be a lot. There should be a lot of them this year, I hope. So anyway,
Well, y'all have a wonderful day.
enjoy you
and,
too. Stay dry.
Thank y'all for all you do, because when I answer a question, Donald says this. He said, "Where'd you hear that from?" I said, Rayford.
It's every now and then some of
You keep informed. That's where you get your answer. You stay on top of things with the Rayford Brown Show
And,
and Kelly and Lee. You won't know something, just listen to them. They'll find it out for you.
and every now and then we get it right.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, no. He says, "How'd you do that? You're not that smart." I said,
Uh-oh.
I finally had to tell him, where'd you hear that? I said, Rayford Show.
And then he
I
said,
need to watch it.
and he said it must be true, right?
He did, absolutely. He said, I've got that brand new boat out there to prove that some of his people that sell boats, it's not brand new now, but he
It's a fine boat
goes by
too.
what you say. Ain't it though?
It is a fine boat. It's a great fishing boat.
Everybody loves that boat.
Yeah, if anybody's out there wants one down at Tide Line, they got a few of them down there right now. Come on
They're
down.
beautiful. They need to go get one.
Yeah,
but y'all have a go. I know it's time for y'all to go.
It is.
Probably.
It is. We're going to do a little bit of news.
The first shall be last, and the last shall be first. So
There
I
you
am
go.
the first.
You are the first. All right.
Thanks, Joy.
See you
Have
later.
a good one, guys.
That's
You
Joy, one of
too.
our frequent callers. Really
Yes.
nice lady too. And husband Don, they're good people. Just real good people.
Yes.
Okay, got to take a break. 22 hours worth. We'll be back tomorrow. Kelly will be back Monday, I guess, if she can get over her stuff down there in Hot Atlanta. How long do you think it will take her to recover when she gets home?
Just the drive back.
She's probably going to need to get some counseling. I know where she can go. Right here in Jacksonville.
Right.
She goes there every day, in fact. All right, you're live and local Real Talk Freedom 97.1, 1120 AM, WSME, WSME971.com, heard around the world. And of course, you can get us on Simple Radio, and daily you can watch us here on our Facebook channel and our YouTube channel. And if you miss the show live, you can go back and look at it or any part of it all day long.
Exactly.
And tomorrow.
Yep.
And the day after.
The
So
day after.
have a great rest of your day. Stay dry. We'll see you tomorrow morning.
WSME, Camp Lejeune, W246 CJ, Jacksonville.